Hey yo, what's going on guys? It's your boy Scatino, aka Scat, and this is my second in my series of videos all regarding E3 2015. Obviously it all kicks off tonight at 2:30 in the morning, the Bethesda conference. But what I want to actually concentrate on today is the Uncharted Collection. Now it's been about a week since this collection was actually announced, and I've kept quiet on it. Basically, not because I'm upset about it or anything like that, or I'm not excited. It's just I wanted to have a steady stream of videos all going into E3 talking about all these different things. And obviously the Uncharted Collection, I believe it is going to be there. I do think they are going to show some of it off, because obviously it's coming out this year, and with Uncharted 4 being pushed back, I think they will show like some gameplay, so like show how it's changed, running in 60 frames per second, all the rest of it. So my thoughts on the Uncharted Collection. Obviously, the Uncharted series is by far my favourite series of the last generation, hands down. Like, I've got so many good memories of playing Uncharted on the PlayStation 3. I remember the first time I ever played Drake's Fortune, it was like, it blew my mind. It was just looked absolutely gorgeous. You know, the gameplay was fun. I loved the storyline. I loved the characters. And what always makes me laugh is like, when Drake's Fortune first come out, like, the Uncharted series wasn't big. You know, it didn't come out and explode, and it was this massive series. You know, when Uncharted Drake's Fortune come out, it was kind of like under the radar. I mean, it come out within like the first year or two of the PlayStation 3's like lifetime. You know, so I think a lot of people missed out on Drake's Fortune at the start, just because obviously the install base of the PlayStation 3 wasn't that high. So when Drake's Fortune come out, not a lot of people owned a PlayStation 3. It was still ridiculously priced, so a lot of people were priced out, and a lot of people were going towards the 360. So, you know, I played Drake's Fortune, and not a lot of people had played it, really, up at that point when it first come out. Then obviously things changed with Uncharted 2. You know, when they first shown off Uncharted 2, it looked amazing. They had that amazing showing at E3 when they shown you know, that section of the game where Drake's on that freight train. And you've got the helicopter shooting at him, and it's going through all these different locales, and it was an absolutely stunning E3 demo. And then obviously to play that game and actually play that section, you know, for yourself, it was phenomenal. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Uncharted series. I loved Uncharted 3, and I loved Golden Abyss on the PlayStation VR. I love them all. I platinumed all the games. I loved them all. So obviously when I heard this collection was coming in 1080p 60 frames per second, obviously it was hype, obviously, and I think it was inevitable for this to come out anyway. I mean, it's the PlayStation's flagship series at this point. I think for them not to bring it to the PS4, where it's going to sell a bucket load, is just, it wouldn't have been good business sense for them, especially like leading up to Uncharted 4. What better way to get people into the series? And not only that, now with Uncharted 4 coming, you can own the whole series on your PlayStation 4. For them people, obviously, who missed out on a PlayStation 3 because they were on the side of the Xbox and they didn't fuck with the PlayStation 3. A lot of these people have now bought a PS4, and they want to try and experience some of the back catalogue. So what better catalogue to bring to the PS4 than Uncharted, you know? So yeah, 1080p 60 frames per second is what they promised. Whether or not they can deliver that 60 frames per second rock solid is a different story, but I've got no doubt in my mind that the game is just going to look absolutely amazing. There's been a bit of a issue, well, not an issue, but I understand quite a few people have been disappointed at the fact that it seems like they're leaving out the multiplayer section of Uncharted 2 and 3. Uncharted 1 didn't have multiplayer, and at first, yeah, I was a bit disappointed, more so in the fact that there was going to be no Uncharted 2 multiplayer, just for the simple fact that I preferred that over 3. I feel like the multiplayer in 3 sort of tried to cater to the Call of Duty crowd, where it was a bit more fast paced, and they introduced like perks and all that kind of stuff, where You know, it's like what with like kickbacks and all this kind of stuff that were going on, which I don't think the multiplayer needed, whereas Uncharted 2 was a bit more simple. But then I thought, well, it's a collection. At the end of the day, Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 are quite different in their multiplayer selves, like I say. So that's a lot of time and effort to try and bring them two multiplayers across. Not only that, but then it's like bringing the multiplayer across, the servers, making sure everything's running, all the code, you know, all of that kind of stuff, making sure the matchmaking is right. But then I think what they're obviously thinking about is the fact, well, this game's coming out in October. You know, we've got Uncharted 4 coming out in about like less than 6 months down the line. Uncharted 4's going to have multiplayer, so why spend all this time, money and effort to bring, you know, the multiplayer back to Uncharted 2 and 3 when in a few months' time the majority of them people will abandon it anyway to go and play Uncharted 4. So there's a definite reason behind that, and I think the time and effort that they've saved from not bringing the multiplayer across will only serve the actual campaigns better, and to make them look better, the best they can possibly be, and to get the performance out of them. You know, I want a solid 60 frames per second, not a target 60 frames and it drops down to 40 and it's all juddery and stuttery and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So I think it is a good thing for the fact that they're not bringing the multiplayer across. I mean, you've got 3 campaigns in this collection, which is a lot of gameplay. You're looking at least 30 plus hours worth of gameplay from the campaigns, beating the game on all difficulty modes, getting all them platinums again. You know, I think that you're definitely getting bang for your buck here. The only thing I am disappointed on is the fact that they're not bringing over Golden Abyss from the Vita. I don't know why they're not bringing it across, but I actually do really like Golden Abyss on the Vita. I think it was a great game, a great launch title for the Vita. I'm quite disappointed that obviously they're not bringing another Uncharted game to the Vita. But, you know, and I think it is a bit of a missed opportunity not to bring Golden Abyss over to the PlayStation 4. You know, it'd be a brand new Uncharted game, especially an Uncharted game that was only on handheld. So all them people who don't own a Vita but are huge Uncharted fans, you know, you could have finally given them the opportunity to actually play the game. Excuse me, but obviously it's not to be. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. The game comes with a code to download the multiplayer beta of Uncharted 4, so obviously that's a bonus. But yeah, you know, like I say, Uncharted, definitely my favourite series of the last generation, hands down. Looking forward to playing them all again. I recently went back and played about an hour of Uncharted 2 through PlayStation Now. And even running that game streaming-wise over an internet connection, the game looks stunning. I mean, even to this day, Uncharted 2 looks stunning. And that game come out in, what, 2010? 2011? Something like that. Look at about 5 years ago, anyway, Uncharted 2 come out. And like I say, it looks stunning even now. So I can only imagine what they're going to do, like updating the textures, the resolution, you know, the frame rate, the lighting, the character models, everything. It's just going to look fantastic. I can't wait to play it. Obviously, it's going to be a day one purchase. I can't speak, a day one purchase for me, and obviously I'll be live streaming the shit out of it. So obviously, make sure you're following me on Twitch for when that game drops. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of it at E3. Hopefully, some of these websites like IGN Game Trailers will release some gameplay videos of it, of the Uncharted Collection, running at 1080p 60 frames per second, just so we can get some kind of an idea of how the game is actually going to look upon release. So yeah, so I'll leave it at that. Obviously I'm hyped, hope you are all too. As always, make sure you rate, comment and subscribe. Please leave a comment in the comment section below, and that's it. So yeah, rolling on to E3, the Uncharted Collection is coming. I'm your boy Scatinio, and I'm out. Peace.